This episode brought to you by Correlation and BankJoy. Mike Lawson here with CU Broadcast. Earlier, we spoke with Banking On's very own Alexei Krasnoyartsev and WeQ's very own Jack Ingram, talking about mobile banking and the digital member experience, something we're all experiencing these days, and how these two organizations work together to really excel in this area to really better serve WeQ's members. And in this particular clip, Alexei talks about how their organizations work together to create such a great mobile experience that had almost a 5-star rating experience with their members. So they're doing something right there for sure. And then Jack came on and talked about some results and some anecdotes that really reflects the credit union success in this area. So really good stuff here from both Alexei and Jack. So check it out. I mean, how did your two organizations work together to create this great mobile experience? Because I was on your website last night doing some research, and WeQ had a 4.8 star rating out of 5 on their mobile experience. So how did you guys get this great mobile experience that got this great rating? And this is out of like 9,500 ratings from folks out there. So this is proof in the pudding that you guys are doing something right. So how did you guys work together to accomplish this?
Yeah, I think I love the partnership. As Jack mentioned, sometimes it feels like a little bit stressful. And I think that's where it's super great to have Wiki as a partner, because Wiki would push back on us when they feel like we could do better. So in a way, even though sometimes getting that feedback like, no, you can do better, it's like, oh, that's a little tough. But it pushes us to overcome that and actually deliver even better, something better. And I think user experience is really where we love, what we do really well. And Jack and Carrie and the rest of the team at WeQ care about that a lot. So they even had I think when we launched the first version, you had like a big screen in your branch where people could test it out. So it's all about collaboration and I would say it's also humility, realizing that none of us know what's truly best by ourselves, but in a combined collaboration, hearing what do you as a credit union feel, you know your members, you know this, you don't know all of them, you don't know everything about them, but you have a good sense of where it is. Yep. And here's what we see from the industry. Here's what we see from all the best practices of our experience as designers. How do we solve that? And oftentimes it does really mean about looking at the pains of the member and just getting out of the box of, oh, I have this financial product, so I'm going to have some functionality around that. And then I have this different vendor, and I'm going to have a lot of functionality around that. And they're completely disconnected because it's different vendors. But for most members, they never think about that. That's like, they don't care that you have a credit card vendor that's different from your debit card vendor, that's different from your statements vendor. It's like, it's all WeQ. It's all, I'm only dealing with WeQ as a member. I needed to look and work and deal exactly as it is WeQ without any differences of that. So if that sums it up.
Oh, completely. And this is something that I haven't really heard before, is like how you guys pushed each other because nothing great really happens unless you get pushed, So, and then you couple it with the collaboration of how you guys work together. Hey, you know what? Alexei pushed you guys, Jack pushed you guys. So it's just, and again, that's how you advance. And so it sounds like you guys really achieved that goal there. So really, really good stuff here. And Jack, and I'm not sure how far along you are in this process, but if you could share, I don't know if you have the numbers or anything like that, but any results or any anecdotes that kind of reflect your credit union succeeding in this area would be really, really cool.
Yeah. So, we've, like I said, we've built a lot with the Banking On team. And so one of the things that, we decided right up front was where it made sense to do so, from an ROI perspective, from a sort of overall level of effort perspective, we could and should leverage APIs, but there's a cost to that, right? And so there's been a lot of back and forth around how we balance member experience, and how we don't, or how we may choose to go with an SSO via API integration. And along the way, WeQ has sort of stood up tooling to help support that conversation with our members and internally. So while we are sort of driving down this road with Banking On and working through this process, we also stood up basically a member listening platform with a third-party partner allow basically communities to sort of spring up and to use that as for sort of like A/B testing. And we really moved away from sort of industry partnership to owning the experience around how we solicit and gain feedback, whether it's NPS or whether it's specific to product launches or product initiatives. And so we launched sort of both those things along similar timeframes as we did with Banking On, and we use them to help drive the process. And I would say from a measurement perspective for us, it was the data, for example, we pull through Qualtrics, right, around sort of the member feedback. It's really been the App Store ratings. When we launched with Banking On collectively, I think the Android app had like a 1.1 star rating, and the iOS app had like a 1.2 star rating. And so seeing that stuff swing up to where it should, right, has been a huge deal. And collectively, as we tracked NPS around like our Voice of the Member survey, we, coming off sort of those large digital transformation initiatives, we really heard it, especially around the digital channels. And this allowed us to take that and really swing the pendulum back the other direction, right? Which was really critical because this is such a primary touch point for our membership.
No doubt. And speaking of primary touch point, what are your members looking for in a mobile app? I mean, can you pin it down to like a couple of specific things that they're looking for? Obviously, ease of use and what Alexi was talking about earlier, just something super convenient and really easy, almost invisible, you know, you want that super easy experience. So what are your members looking for?
Well, I think it changes day to day, right? So we got really lucky. We sort of nailed all this and hit it pre-COVID, like right before the pandemic hit. So we really saw that huge lift around, mobile deposit capture, for example. We invested a lot, surprisingly, in the bill pay experience to nativize that experience, leveraging APIs back to CheckFree. That's seen big adoption. We nativized the e-statement experience, right? Because we're trying to really drive some real, true hard ROI out of some of these platforms and be able to measure it. So since then, we've launched rewards, and we have sort of a hybrid API SSO experience for rewards. And now we're working on things like Plaid integration with Alexi for account aggregation and sort of trying to make ourselves top of wallet, right? Because we're not naive. We recognize, right, that members have relationships elsewhere, but we want to be the primary for our membership. And so there's a lot of back and forth and build. But I would say for us, right, it's always the bread and butter. How can our members get into the platform as quickly and seamlessly as possible, do their business and get out, but also feel engaged? And to Alexi's point, this is a premium experience. It's not clunky. It's not a web wrapper. It's what it should be, like other iOS experiences or Android experiences, right? It's native. And thank you very much, Alexi and Jack, and stay tuned for more news here on CU Broadcast. And if you want to watch the entire episode, check it out right below the show notes. This episode brought to you by Correlation and BankJoy.